welcome to the Blah 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 podcast. I am Marlene. I'm the content creator of the Marlene Saunders Show, and welcome to the podcast. The Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. Today on the podcast, we're going to be speaking about um, they say they love you, but, and when we talk about love, there's many different types of love. There's romantic love. There's spiritual love, the agape love. There's friendship love. There's workmate love. There's relative love. The love from your children. There's all forms of love, but love is not just what a person says. It's so easy to say that you love somebody. It's easy to say those words out of your mouth, but just because somebody says that they love you does not mean that they actually do. Just because a person comes out their mouth and say, I love you. I love you, it comes with some responsibility. There has to be some action behind it. Hi, Miss Nancy. How are you doing? Welcome. How are you doing? Happy hump day. I hope all is well with you. Yeah, people can say they love you all day long, right? They can say they love you with their mouth, but where is the action behind it? Where is the proof that somebody actually does love you? And for me, I came up with these seven things that I think that you need more than just the words to say I love you. And my first one is if somebody says that they love you, they should be willing to communicate with you. And I know that everybody is in different spaces of their life to where they've grown into. And I know that communication is something very difficult because some people communicate well and some don't. But the ones that refuse to communicate with you, they won't talk with you, they shut down because some feel that communication makes them uncomfortable. They don't like it. Maybe they didn't grow up communicating. I'm doing awesome. I'm glad you're doing well, Miss Nancy. If you have not already, please hit the like, share this out. I'd really appreciate it. And this is one thing that I can say in all relationships, any healthy relationship. Of course, we can have many relationships, but not all of them are good ones. I found when I got to be older and, seeking therapy and working on myself that you can have relationships, but that doesn't mean that they're good relationships and healthy ones. In good relationships, you communicate, you talk about how you feel. If a person hurts you, you just don't keep allowing somebody to do whatever they want. And that person should feel something inside that I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to disappoint you. I don't want to make you feel some type of way. But of course, if you have a toxic relationship and they're just a person who's a user, a narcissist, just an evil person, they won't care about you because it has nothing to do with you. Unfortunately, there are some people that are that way, and we must identify the people who are that way and get them out of our life. And it hurts sometimes because the people who, we care about, the people that we can actually love them, and they're not loving us back. We have to understand that we are valuable enough that we don't have to continue a relationship with them. And it does hurt. And I'm not saying it's something easy to cut off people, especially people who are our relative, people who we've known for a long time. But when we know better, and people who help us, that hurt us in that way, they make us have a low sense of being around them. The way that they treat us makes us feel bad about ourselves. It makes us feel insufficient in some type of way. And nobody doesn't deserve to feel that way. Nobody deserves to feel negative or like they're not important enough or they're not special. And the people who cut you off, just like stop talking to you, or if they're going through something, they just push you aside. It's not a good feeling, and it makes you feel like there's something that you've done. You shouldn't have to always go after, hunting for their love or, asking for their support. That's something that you naturally should be able to do. Nancy says people who don't love themselves are incapable of loving others. Yes, Nancy, you have to first work on yourself. And that's definitely something that I had to learn. I didn't understand why the people that I knew I loved them from my heart. I knew I loved them with purity. I know I love them, for in all aspects of all my relationships. I knew I loved them in um, my spiritual love, in my agape love. I knew I loved them that way. I knew I loved my friends in the way that I should love them. I knew I loved my relatives, with that love. I knew I loved, you know, who I loved romantically, but it does not mean that they love you back. A lot of times we stay in relationships with people just because we feel that we love them. But if they are not giving, what are they giving to you? And it does not always have to be the exact same thing that we give to them. But are they giving you emotional support, mental support, spiritual support, physical support, financial support? But it has to be you're getting some sort of support in this life, or it's really not worth it. Some people that you find that you love them, but they're not worth keeping around. Not because you think you're better than other people. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's more about don't let people use you as a doormat, or don't let people say with their words they love you, but only saying they love you because they want something from you. Love in its purest form is people will just give you love and be there for you just because of who you are, just because of your personality, just because they care about you, not because they want anything in return. And you have to realize that real pure love there is not looking for anything back from you. Yeah, sometimes it's time to move on, and that takes some time. It takes some time to come to that. And I've seen it a lot in social work that people stick around in relationships because they don't know themselves yet. They don't feel that they deserve that, or they've been so gullible to, someone messing with their mind, whether in a romantic relationship or relative or their children or friend, work mate. They just are so used to people telling them stuff and they just easily believe. And it has to be more than you just wanting to be there for somebody, you wanting to care for them. They have to want to give back to you and pour back into you because it's what we deserve. And some people just won't communicate because they don't want to. Some people don't want to communicate with you. And I just saw Miss Sirius. How are you doing, Sirius? Happy Wednesday to you. Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. I hope all is well with you. If you guys could please hit the like, and to any mods in the building, if you see anybody who is coming in and they have a channel, feel free to put their link in the chat. I think it's so important when we talk about people who say out their mouth that they love you. And then you have to preface it with a but. They say they love you, but do they listen to you? Do they listen to you? And listening is not just because it's something that I had to definitely go and learn about my listening skills. We listen sometimes because we are trying to come up with a solution, an answer to whatever they're saying. But listening is just hearing without judgment, without trying to fix or do anything. It's just being there. It's just supporting because a person could be talking to us about something and they don't want a solution. They just want to get something off their chest. They just want to vent to you. They just want to know that you're listening to them. They just want to feel that, I can say something to you and there's not going to be a judgment. There's not going to be you know, any consequences to saying how they feel. You have to have somebody or someone in your life that you can just say what you want to say, and it's nothing against them. It has nothing to do with them. And that's one thing that we have to learn, that not everything that people say to us is about us. People are operating from their level, from where they're vibrating in their life, and some are vibrating low, some are vibrating high, and you can't judge other people from where they are. Every single person is on a journey in their life, but we have to learn to work on our skills of listening. We have to work on being a good listener. And I found for me that it's hard for me to listen to things that I don't understand or things that is not important to me. But if we care about people, if we love them, what is important to them should be important to us. Yes, serious, blessed, and highly favored as well. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you are here and you are well. Yes, Nancy. Um, we have to. I had to definitely work on myself, and that's just me being transparent. I thought that I was a pretty good listener until they're like, "You always have something to say when I say something," and it means that when somebody is talking, it doesn't mean that your mind is going somewhere else and thinking, "Okay, what can I do? How can I help?" It's not all the time that a person is seeking an answer, a solution. Sometimes it's just you just being there, just being a safe place for that person to fall, that they know that I can say what I want, I can say how I feel, and you'll just be there. You'll just listen to me. And that's a very important quality that you don't find. It's very rare to find somebody who will listen to you without it being anything more than just that. And, people will talk about they love you all day long, but is it really love? Um, that's something that we each have to find out for ourselves. We can say people care for us and they love us, but how are they loving us? That's a question I got started getting into when I went through therapy. There is love. They may be saying they love you, but they are loving you in a way that's toxic, poisonous, harmful. You know, they're loving you in a way to be scheming, manipulative, um, trying to be controlling. That's not love. Love love does not bring pain. Love will support, will understand, you know? And a lot of times the reason why people are toxic is because that's all they've seen. They've only seen toxic forms of love, toxic relationships. And I can't say it's all the time, but sometimes the toxicity comes from a person's mental health or a person's lack thereof mental health. They may have a mental illness, and it's not to make fun of anybody, but some just have a mental illness. Some just need to get some support. through seeing a doctor, a therapist. Some need some medication in order to support them from having a stable mental health because they're just not okay. And we hope for those individuals. We pray for them. You know, you never want anybody to, be in a space to where they can't cope with life or they're not dealing well. And if a person needs some support in that aspect, seek it, ask for it. And it may be sometimes where the people that you love, you may have to baker at them. You may have to force them, into getting some therapy, into getting, um, some help, some psychiatric help. Because when you love somebody, it's not loving somebody when it's easy, it's loving them when they're hard, when it's hard for you. It's loving somebody when it's difficult. It's making a decision for their betterment. You have to love people at all times. And I can say that that's one of the most difficult things. People think about love as love in its pure form when things are roses and sunshine and you're doing great in the relationship, romantically, spiritually, in friendships. But what about when a person isn't in the best space? Maybe they're going through something. That's the time people need love. People need love in their hardest times, in their darkest times. This is when people really need friendship and support. The time to love somebody is when they are at their lowest point. Will you love people when it's hard? Will you do that? If it's harmful, it isn't love. That's right, Nancy. It's not love. It's not love when it adds pain to it because love does not bring pain. Love blesses you. Love encourages you. Love supports you. Love understands. And some just don't know that because they have never experienced pure love. People will say, you may have been in relationships romantically, or you may have had people who say they love you, but they really didn't know love. They really didn't know what love was like. And that's the reason why, as adults, we have to really ask ourselves, are we really getting love the way we deserve? And are we giving love to other people the way that they deserve? And it does definitely take a mature woman or a mature man to say, I am not in the best space. I'm doing some toxic things, and we can't always fix those things on our own. We need support from other things, and that's why they have people who are professionals that know exactly how to help us in that way. Hey, DJ Tanya, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Wednesday to you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope all is well with you. Appreciate your support. Yeah, people say they love you, but I've seen it all the time. I've seen it working in social work, working in the healthcare field. I've seen people say all the time that they love somebody, but they love them, but they're putting their hands on them, being in DV situations. Or people who have their mind messed up, you know, people who say that they love their children, but, they neglect them, or the people who say that they love themselves, but they will be taking harmful substances or they'll have addictions. And it's not because they do it because they want to, but sometimes people are going through life and they're covering up their pain instead of uncovering the reason for the pain, you know? That's usually the problem right there. People are hiding the pain. People don't want to deal with and uncover. They just want to put a bandage on the pain or ignore the pain, ignore the trauma when that's the reason why you feel the way you feel. That's why you are carrying such a heavy burden. There are some times to where hiding that burden is something that we may have done. I know growing up, when I grew up, you didn't talk about things that made other people uncomfortable. You hid things, you didn't talk about things, and that's not the solution. That hiding, secrecy, lies, deceit, that causes more pain and it makes more all relationships. Hey, Mr. Frank, how are you doing? Happy Wednesday. Welcome in. Happy hump day to you all. I hope all is well with you. Yeah, and a lot of times that people will do things that are harmful to others. They will bring so much pain and they'll say they love somebody, but they're putting their hands on them. They love them, but they keep cheating on them. They love them, but they're controlling and they feel they feel that that's love. But I believe a lot of times it's because that's the way love was introduced to them. You know, they saw they saw toxicity, maybe with their parents, aunts and uncles, grandparents, friends, maybe in their community, and they identify that as love, but that's not real love. People say all the time that they love, they've been in love, but people really don't know what it is. And Frank has said it. Some people don't know real love these days, and they don't, Frank. Hmm. I hear people say all the time, you know, oh yeah, that's my babe. I love them. I was like, you love them, but look at the way you treat them. And love is supportive. That's something that a lot of people don't know. Um, I'm glad you're good, Frank. That's awesome. Um, a lot of people think that the people that they're with, they love them, but look at the way that they treat them, you know. And I know that it's not easy. It's more comfortable to have people around. It's more comfortable to stay in a relationship that is toxic because number one, you don't want to walk away. You don't want to be alone. You don't want to search for anybody. But, if you think about yourself and what you deserve and who you don't deserve to be treated any type of way. You don't deserve to be disrespected or talked down to or lied to and cheated on and all of those things or controlled or manipulated. That's not love, everybody. That's not love. And people say that they love you, but that's not love. That's toxicity. That's manipulation. That's using. Yeah, some people are too ashamed to talk about uncomfortable situations. They would internalize the pain. Yes, serious. And a lot of people do it just because that's what they've seen. That's what they see all around their environment. That's what they grew up in. That was their whole childhood, right? Some people, their childhood is nothing but pain and toxicity. There was nothing more than pain and toxicity. And I know for myself as an adult, I had to learn to grow up and find out what love actually was. For me, I thought I had seen love, and we think that it's love because people around us say, I love them," but that love was being upset and screaming. That's no. That's not love or manipulation or using, you know. That's not love. That's not what love does. Yes, Frank. It is an action word. It's what you will do. What will you do because you love them? And I can say that it's the most difficult thing in this world to love somebody and then to say when someone disappoints you, when someone hurts your feelings, but also being loving yourself enough to be honest with yourself. When you do this is how it makes me feel. you know Not all the time the people in our life know, and people aren't mind readers, and we definitely have to learn how to say that, when you do this is how it makes me feel. Not not yelling, not screaming. I learned that in therapy, that when you get upset with somebody, giving people the silent treatment is not going to be a solution. Yes, if that love is toxic, then you just tell them, I can no longer be around you because of what you do, what you say, how you use me. That's a different thing. But I'm saying when you feel some type of way about somebody, something that they're doing, their actions, their behaviors, their treatment of you. It's not the time to shut down. And that's what I used to do all the time. I used to always shut down when I would get upset. And I was like, well, you don't care anyway. So I would just go silent. I would ghost people. But that's not helping them, and it's not helping you. It actually brings about some mental health issues. That affects your mental health when you keep pushing things down. And it's usually most of the time in urban communities, low income communities, we tend to think that, okay, not talking about it, or I don't want to talk about it, or we don't like to talk about things, or it's uncomfortable. That's not an answer. That's not a solution. It makes more problems. Not talking about a problem makes more problems, more and more problems all the time, you know. And I used to see it. I saw it growing up. When somebody in my family was upset with somebody, they would just ignore them for the rest of the day. Mm-mm. That's not good, everybody. That's not love. That's toxicity. If you love somebody, you it should be a comfortable zone to where, of course, you can take some moments to say, just give me a little bit of time because I have to calm down. You shouldn't talk when you are ready to scream or you're going to say something. Yeah, take a break. Take a few minutes, take an hour, but don't ignore a problem. If you see that it's a problem, if you see something as a red flag, it's something that makes you feel some type of way. You can't keep ignoring everything that somebody does to you when it definitely is affecting you, and it's affecting the relationship that you could have with them. You have to tell people how you feel. You have to communicate. And I get it that not everybody's going to be on board and listen to it or make changes, but you have to speak up for yourself and say, this is how I'm feeling. But it's up to other people to take that in and to say, I don't want to hurt them in that way. I want to stop that. I want to make some changes. And someone who actually cares about you will make a change, will say, I'm going to stop doing that, or they're going to seek some help so that they won't do that anymore. That's one of the reasons why I went to therapy and I got some help, because I could say all day long, oh, I don't need therapy. But if somebody does something to me, my first instinct was to shut down. I don't want to talk about it because number one, it made me uncomfortable. I didn't know about that subject, or I thought it was stupid. And I definitely had to learn to stop being selfish with love. That love isn't just what I wanted and needed, it's what that other person needed as well. It has to go on both sides of the coin. Both people in a relationship have to get their needs met, have to be listened to, have to get supported. And it wasn't just about me. And I did not have that form of love. I didn't know how to love back. I only thought that love meant me getting what I wanted. And that's not, no, that's not good. That's not a solution. Yes, serious. Absolutely. So it meant that I had to do some work. I needed to work on me. And yeah, I'm going to tell everybody that it causes you being vulnerable, it causes you being honest. And most of the time, we don't want to be honest with ourselves. We don't be honest with ourselves because we don't want to pull down the walls. We don't want to expose ourselves that, yeah, I have an anger problem. I'm not the best listener. I'm not as supportive as I should be. I am not a very patient person. It's hard to expose all of those things about ourselves, but it's important in relationships that you can let down those walls and just expose yourself to, not to everybody, but to people that you care about. You should be able to, say how you feel without it being a big deal or drawn out or anger or things thrown in your face. A healthy relationship, you should be able to say, I feel this way, And then you say, oh, okay. And then that person should be able to say, and I feel this way. And we can say, what's the answer? What's solution? How can we move forward? How can my needs and your needs be met? And I didn't put it in here, but also love is compromising. Um, it's not just about one person always getting what they want. Sometimes you have to come to a fork in the road and say, okay, okay, what can we both agree to? It's not just always what I want or always what they want. In a healthy relationship, both sides will say, let's do this. Yes, serious. It is so good to reconnect your thoughts and feelings. And I can say for me, it was the first time I had ever connected, because unknowingly for myself, I had kept pushing down things, ignoring things, pushing aside my trauma, my childhood experiences, people who disappointed me, the times where I didn't feel support. And it started to affect my mental health. It started to affect other relationships because when you ignore certain things, like if something, your mother, your father, your siblings, aunts, and uncles, when other people do things to us, we will take it out on whoever is closest to us and we'll snap on them, and they have nothing to do with it. So I had to learn how to separate it. I had to learn to say, I need a break. I need some time by myself. Now it's not a good time. I'll talk to you later, so that I didn't snap off, so that I didn't shout and yell and be disrespectful to the people that I love the most. I'm verbal about how I feel. Repressing and suppressing your feelings will cause depression, loneliness, and isolation. Yes. hmm Feelings, feelings of worthlessness, and you'll begin to doubt yourself because you keep stuffing down when you're ignored, when you're not treated the way that you should, when you get left out of things, when you get put down, when you feel that the things that you do are not important, but the things that other people do are important. So when we see that from other people and we see I'm trying to think of the word, but the word's not coming to me. When we see a double standard, right? That certain people in the family get this treatment, but you get a different treatment, and you're like, what is going on? And it happens a lot. And even if you talk about, hey, how come this person gets this and you get that, they will snap off on you because you've exposed them, you've called them out. And people don't like to be called out. But in a healthy relationship, they would say, I wasn't aware that I was doing that. Okay. And I'm going to work on that. I'm going to do better. They won't get upset and angry with you. People will identify what category they are in, if they're in the toxicity or if they're in that healed part, that healthy part. And those are the relationships that you want to keep. You don't want to keep the people around you that are, the manipulators, the users, the narcissists. Yeah, we got to stay away from the people that are toxic. Um, and this is another one that people will say that they love you, but they're angry. And I can only speak from where I have been. I used to always say I loved people, but I gave out angry love because I was an angry person. I was an angry girl. I had an angry childhood. I was upset about so many things. I felt so many injustices. The times where I didn't get the support that I deserved. So even though you could be grown, you can be an adult. It doesn't matter how old you are, and people can say all day long, I'm grown. You can be grown, right? But are you acting grown? Are you acting in a mature way? Maturity is not something that just happens. It takes work to be mature. It takes work to, when you feel some type of way, to not snap off. It takes work to be patient because we don't always want to be patient. with other people. We want people to be patient with us. That's something that I had to definitely learn for myself. I wanted to be patient. I want everybody to be patient with me, but I lack that patience with other people because if I was honest 100%, because it was just about me, and I had to change that about myself. I also had to learn to be patient with other people. I had to learn to be understanding, and I had to learn to be forgiving. And for me, being forgiving of other people, not harboring that resentment. Oh, yeah, and bringing it up and throwing it in their face. You know, that's when I knew that I had matured and I had grown up, when somebody had done something to me before and I forgave them. I forgave them and I didn't have to keep talking about it. And I've heard so many people, they say that they forgave people, but as soon as somebody does something, as soon as they get upset and angry, they're talking about it. So it means that they never forgave them, because when you forgive somebody, you don't have to keep talking about it. And forgiveness is not for other people, forgiveness is for you. You forgive and let go so that you can be in a healthy space. And another thing that I learned when I was in therapy is that forgiveness is so that I could have the life that I want, so that I wasn't in pain, so that I didn't feel hurt, so that I could have healthy relationships with other people. When I forgive, forgiveness takes that weight off my shoulders. It takes the weight off my heart. And I am not angry. I get peace. And I forgive not because they didn't do wrong. No, I forgive so that I can move on, and I forgive, and it doesn't mean that I forget. It doesn't mean that I'm stupid. It doesn't mean that I'm gullible. It just means that I I know that it's time for me to let that go so that I can move on, so that I don't have to be angry, and so that I don't take it out on the people that I actually care about. That's the thing about maturity. It's not the easiest thing to be mature. There are so many times where I want to get back at people. I want to beat them up. I want to slap them. I want to do something to them. You want to get back. You want to get even with people when they do something to us. When people who claim they love us do things, we, oh, we want to get back. We want to get that revenge on them. We want to do something to them, right? I know I do. I want to get back at people when they hurt me, but that's not the solution. That's not the answer. I always say, the things that people do in the dark will always come to the light. It doesn't matter how people act. It's all about our reaction. How do we react? You know, what is poured out? I always say, what comes out, what the things that you talk about, the way you treat other people, your own fruitage, your own actions. That shows that if you love yourself. And yes, we're talking about other people and how they will love us, but also to receive love, we have to love ourselves. And that's something that a lot of people do not do, either because they don't know how to love themselves, they don't want to love themselves, or they don't know how. And I fell in the category of not knowing how to love myself. I thought that toxicity was love. I thought that, the fakeness, the people who pretend, or thought that I had to love certain people. And that's not the solution either. Just because we care about people and we want to be there for people, and you know, we've been around them, or they're our relative, it doesn't mean that they actually love us back. And I had to learn that it's okay to love people from a distance, or to love people. I love you, but I can't be around you because you're toxic, because you need to work on yourself. That shows that I love myself, because I know how to separate. I know that I love you, but I can't be around you because you're harmful to my mental health. You're harmful to my finances. You're harmful to my peace of mind. You make me feel bad about myself. You make me feel guilty that I treat myself well. And that's one of the things that I will never allow another person to make me feel that way ever again. Never allow other people and the way that they choose to love themselves stop you from loving yourself the way you deserve. And for me, that showed that I was in a space that I was healed and I was healthy, because before I would let people love me how they wanted to do love me, even if it was harmful, even if it caused pain, even if I felt disrespected. And no, I don't do that anymore. I never allow anybody in all friendship, all relationships, whether friendship, on the job, to treat me disrespectfully. And I had to learn for myself, because I love myself. I had to learn to start speaking up for myself, especially on the job. And I get it that the job is there for you to make money, but don't sell your soul for money. Don't break your body down, being the best employee of the year. You do what you have to do and leave. You make your money and you go. Don't let other people say, oh, you're the best, or try to you know gaslight you, with saying all of these things to get you and manipulate you to do certain things that they want. Learn to draw the line in the sand. This is what I'm willing to do, and this is what I'm not willing to do, because I care for myself. I care for my mental health. I know when I need rest. I know when I need a vacation. Do that for yourself because you love yourself. And unfortunately, on the job, friendships, and other people that we know that we care about, they get upset when you are practicing self love and self care and guarding and protecting your mental health. There are certain people that being around them, they make your mental health get off because of the things that they say, what they do, how they treat other people, how they try to treat you. Don't let other people treat you in a disrespectful manner and then call that love. Or the ones that will try to blame you for their bad behavior. Oh, if you didn't do this, or if you had supported me. We're not doing that backhanded support. We're not doing that. And another thing that I learned about myself is that when people say that they love you, but really they only love themselves, or they only love you if you can give them what they want. And that's not love. It's not love if somebody only wants to give you what they want to give you when they're ready, in their time. That they wouldn't be willing to, if you call them and you ask them to do things, they move at the beat of their own drum. And but when they're ready and they want you and they need you, they want you immediately. They want you to do something right now. It don't work that way. You're going to get back the same energy that you give to me. If you give me that you don't want to rush and do anything nice for me, the same thing. I don't want to move and do anything nice for you. Don't let people play games with you. The games that people play, you can give it right back to them. Don't rush and bend over backwards for people who wouldn't rush and bend over backwards for you. The people who want to move at their own time, they want to show up late, they want to be disrespectful to you, give it right back to them and say, I'm just giving you the same energy you give back to me. And they will get mad. And I say, well, what did I do wrong? People don't like when you call them out. People don't like to face the truth. They don't want to look at themselves in the mirror. They don't. Hey, Tamika, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day to you. They don't. They don't, Tamika. They don't. People don't like when you expose them. But I'm just giving you back the same energy. I'm giving you back the same vibration you're giving to me. And they don't like that. They want you to do for them, but they wouldn't be willing to do for you. They wouldn't be willing to make the same sacrifices. And I always say, when people say they love you, test them. Test it out. People will say, "Oh, if you need me, call me." Okay. Next time you need them, call them. Test it out. See if it's real. And when they say, "Oh, no, I can't," I said, "But you said if I needed something." You have to test love. Love has to be tested. Let people prove, not all the time, but once in a while. Especially if you're a person who's kind and you're a giver and you're always there and supportive for other people, you deserve that same level of kindness. You deserve that same level of compassion and understanding and someone listening. You shouldn't be the only person um, supporting them. They should be calling you and saying, "Hey, how are you doing? I was checking on you. Are you okay today?" If you're not getting back that same energy, you need to leave those people alone. They don't love you. And that was really hard for me when I finally came to that realization that the people that I thought cared about me actually didn't. They only cared about me while I could do for them, while I could give for them, while I could give them money or provide some sort of support that they needed or take care of their children or whatever it is that they needed. And if I couldn't give them what they wanted and needed, then they would tell me off, cuss me out. Uh-uh. That's not love. A person who loves you is understanding if you can't. They're actually going to encourage you. Yeah, get your rest. I'll talk to you later, or call me when you have the time. It shouldn't be call me back. What are you doing? Why aren't you available? Why is your phone off? How come you're sleeping so long? This and that. Mm-mm. That's a person who is needy and thirsty and manipulative and selfish. And we don't need that. We don't need that in our life. We don't. Yeah, it's so true, Frank. We don't need manipulative people in our life. We don't need people who are users. And that goes to all relationships. Your children, your siblings, aunts and uncles, your parents, your friends on the job. You have to show people how you want to be treated. Hey Nate, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Wednesday to you. I hope all is well with you. If you guys have not already, please hit the like. And that's something that I had to learn. It's not about making everybody in this world happy. It's about making you happy. Learning to pour back into yourself, learning to take care of your mental health, learning how valuable and important you are, and taking your breaks, practicing your self care, and testing out those relationships. Like I said, it's important to test people. Um, you got to test people from time to time, and see if they will support you back. Sometimes all you need is someone to talk to. You don't even want anything financially or anything like that, but just somebody saying, "How are you doing?" That goes a long way into making you feel good, like they actually care about me. They're actually checking on me. That's a person who loves you, not looking for anything in return. All they're doing is trying to check on you, support you. And let me say this too, that is something I had to learn in my maturity, that I had to learn who people were. Because I grew up in a big family, I'm the last of 10. And even though I have so many brothers and sisters, I could, we say we love our siblings, right? But do you actually know them? And I had to start to get to know my siblings as adults. You can say you love them because you feel like that responsibility because they're my siblings or because they're your relatives. We feel we have to love them. but do you have a personal relationship with the people that you claim to know? What do they like to do? What's their favorite show? What's their favorite color? What's their life goal? What kind of things have they overcome? I learned that in my maturity after I therapy, that you can know people your whole life, but I mean, you can love people your whole life, but you don't actually know them. What are they about? Hmm? What have they overcome? Like, you need to form, like, oh, I didn't know that about them. I didn't know they liked that. I didn't know they wanted to do that. I didn't know that was their favorite hobby. You could be know somebody your entire life, but you don't actually know them. And a person who is their friend can know more about them than you did. I found that out when my brother passed away, that I thought I knew him, but when I started to find out that he liked this certain hobby, I was like, I didn't know that, or this was his favorite TV show. Because you can know people, but only on the surface level. Have you got to know them in their heart? What they've overcome, what sort of woman they are, what sort of man they are. That's when you really know somebody and love them, is when you take the time to get to know them and formulate a friendship with them. It's more than just saying you love people. Who are they? What are they about? What have they overcome? And they're still here. And that, for me, that makes me love people even more. I love people even more once I find out what they have endured. And I become so proud of them. I'm so proud of people who have the courage enough to stand up and work on themselves and be better brothers and sisters and cousins and friends and workmates, and just a better person in general, and work on themselves. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. So shout out to them, and shout out to you, and to everybody who supports me on this channel. Thank you all so much. I only have two more points and I'm going to get out of here. People say they love you, but they lack compassion. They lack compassion. They don't care about what you're dealing with. They just want you to give them what they want. They don't care if you're tired or you don't feel good or you're going through a health problem or a financial problem, or they don't care about your mental health. They just want you to do what they want you to do. Frank says, communication is real bad these days. People don't actually talk and have a conversation with each. Yeah, Frank, they don't. And I do think that it's ultimately because we live in this microwave society and people just think that everything is about texting. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate a text, but there's certain things that a text can't do. A phone call, or showing up in person, seeing someone's facial expression, that that means more. And we have to see that. There's certain things that you can't get through a text. There's certain things that you can't understand, or a person may put something in caps, and then you'll feel that a person is angry and they're not angry. So until you have an actual conversation with somebody and communicate, and you can hear their voice, and you can know, like, okay, you say you're okay, I'm okay, but when you talk to them, their voice sounds sad. So that's why it's important to the people you care about, check on them. And I actually have to say this because it's important. Check on your strong people, check on your strong friends, the ones who are always supportive of everybody, or the people that you think is always okay. It's usually the big mamas, grandmas, the moms, aunties, your good friends, the people who you always think are holding it down and doing right. Just because people are holding it down and doing it right and taking care of their families, it doesn't mean that they're always okay. Just because a person says they're okay doesn't mean they're okay. I say for myself, that's a code word in my family. If a person says they're okay, that's that's like drop everything you're doing and show up. When you say you're okay in my family, that means you're not okay. I'm okay. Mm-mm. No, you should be. If you're not doing good or great or fantastic, then something is wrong. If you say you're just doing okay, something is wrong. Let's talk about it. How can we support you? That's what you're supposed to do when you have people that actually care about you and love you. You shouldn't just be okay. You should be doing phenomenal. You should feel supported and blessed and loved and, you know, encouraged, doing great. That's the response that we need to get more so. But when we say we're doing okay to people will just, oh, that's good. They don't question it. Why are you just okay? And I'm grateful that I have people in my life that if I say I'm okay, they'll say, why are you just okay? Is there something you need? Is something I can do for you? I'm grateful to have, I don't have many of those relationships, but I do have three or four people in my life that if I say I'm okay, they're going to inquire, why are you just okay? Or they'll ask me, what did you eat? And are you okay financially? Are you being supported mentally? Those are the people that really actually care about us and actually love us. So this is my last point, everybody. People say they love you, but they don't show it by their actions. Or what does it mean? What does it mean when somebody says they love you? And Frank said it earlier. The actions. It's more than just saying they love you, and especially going into next week, Valentine's Day. I always say it, and I know that I may get some shade with this, but people will only think about you when it's a holiday or when it's your birthday. What about all of the other days of the year? You know, everybody is free to feel how they want to feel. But for me, I don't care about a person giving me a gift on a holiday or my birthday. What about the day after, the week after, months after? If a person can't check on me and love me every day, I don't want any of those gifts. I don't care about a gift that you just give 5 or 6 days of the year. What about all the days in between, the months in between? Yeah, am I being supported? No. To me, that's what's important. But to each his or her own. I'm not telling anybody what to do, what to feel, but that's just how I vibrate. I don't care. I care nothing about holidays. I don't care anything about it because for me it's just something man-made that people just do, and they get into all of this expense to do all of these kind deeds for you, but the next day, the next month, you don't hear from them for another 3 or 4 months. To me, I don't care about those things. It's nice if you get a gift on a holiday, but what about all of the other days after? What about the days in between? Are they there talking to you, supporting you, and vice versa? Is it going both ways? Mm, that's just how I am. Yeah, I know, Frank. Being okay is accepted these days by people. But in my within my circle of love, the people who actually care about me, we don't do okay. If I text back I'm okay, I'll get back all the messages from those four people who matter to me because we have this code amongst ourselves. If I say I'm doing okay and if I put it in caps, that means run, get to me. That's our code. Um, and you should have a code with people that you care about. You should have something to identify that something is wrong. And if you say you're okay, then something is wrong. You should be great, phenomenal. Um, and you should have people that will inquire. But if you have people, if you just say you're okay and they just say that's good, mm-mm, that's not a good relationship. Yeah, Frank, I'm just saying, I'm not pushing my ideas on anybody else, but I'm not a holiday person. I and you'll never see me put anything up on any of my channels about holidays. I don't care about those things. Those things aren't important to me. I care about all the days after the holidays. That's what's important to me. What about the day after? What about the day after my birthday? The day after Christmas? The day after Thanksgiving? That's just where I'm vibrating. The more that I grow up, it's certain things that it's not important to me. You know, what if that person on that holiday can't give a gift, but they can give me their time? There's certain times that maybe that person won't be able to afford to get you anything. Does that mean that they love you any less? That's just where I am. There's certain times where, yes, gifts are nice. It's nice to give people gifts. It's nice to give people love and support. But what if that person can't financially afford to buy a gift? Are they supposed to put it on a credit card and give it to you anyways? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna encourage my beliefs on anybody, but yeah, that's where I am. And I just wanted to come on here for a little bit and talk about love and what is love and what is not love, just for all of you chat family to think about it. Think about your relationships with people and the people who say they love you. What are their actions? What are they doing in real time? What are they doing to prove it to you, to show it? you know are they considerate of you and your feelings? What are their actions? How are they supporting you mentally, spiritually, financially, if that's possible? Love is more than just words. Love is action. Love is care. Love is concern. Love is just showing up and being there. Sometimes just putting your head on their shoulder, or them just taking your hand and holding it, just showing that level of care, compassion, and support. For me, that means more to me than a person buying a gift. But that's just me. I just want to come on and say my little bit. Thank you so much for tuning into the Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. I do these podcasts 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. every single day, Monday to Friday. Thank you so much for supporting. If you have come this far and you have not subscribed to this channel, subscribe to Marlene Saunders Show and give this video a like. And if you're watching in the replay, you're listening in the replay to this podcast, leave me a comment in the comment section below. How do you define love? And thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you for having my back, supporting this channel. We're on the road to 800 subscribers. I believe we have like 700 and 760 or something, 770. But I know we have like about 30 to 35 subscribers before we get to that goal. And I got to thank the ones that are supporting me and have supported me and continue to support me, not just on this channel, but on my other channels as well. Thank you guys so much. And everybody have a great day, and make sure you are getting love the way that you deserve in your love language, because you are valuable and important. This is the Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. If you have not subscribed, subscribe to this channel. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye bye, guys.